Hi guys, you are here with the brandly new named We Are the Girls in Claret and Blue. Thank you to Russell who sent that suggestion in. That's the one that tickled mine and Reese's fancy the most. Mine mainly because it's my favourite chant at West Ham for that one, and we thought it was definitely the one that summed up what we want this show to be about. So thank you very much, Russell. We will find your tweet and give you a shout out on Twitter. So this is, of course, the women's team show. This is Ali, and I'm here with Reese again. And we're going to sum up last week, big up this week, and have lots of chat in between. So, Reese, let's sum up the game against Chelsea. Unfortunate loss, but I do think we played exceptionally well against quite a lackluster Chelsea, to be honest.
Yeah, I didn't watch the game, so I can't really sum up too much about it. But by what I saw by the tweets West Ham put out, we did seem to be quite unlucky. And I'm taking it more as a positive again, like I did with the Arsenal game, that we're seeming against these bigger sides to rise to the occasion. And I think in that Conti Cup group now, we can also, now we've got Chelsea out of the way, focus on wrapping up the points against all the other teams, which is nice. But on Chelsea, I was quite impressed to see Lehmann back in the team. I said last week that I didn't expect that to happen. I thought she'd be rested for the Tottenham game. But by Avic's what's it called? Vlog, that's it. By what he said on that, apparently we did play well, but we just didn't take our chances. So it's another impressive performance and another tick we can add to the season box, I guess, so far.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And the fact that we held them 0-0 in the first half, from the sounds of it, Thomas had some great shots that got cleared. Leon had some great shots that couldn't quite make it. It was great to see Leanne back for a few minutes because she's obviously been out injured at the beginning of this season. To be honest, I've seen the Chelsea goals and a lot of them were wonder goals. There was not much Anna really could have done. I mean, it was a Beth England special, that first goal, that, you know, with all the will in the world, there was no getting a hand to that. She definitely had some brilliant saves. There was one against, I think, Bachmann that was fantastic, which could have put us down 3-0, which would have been quite demoting for the Tottenham game up ahead. So overall, like you said, like with the Arsenal game, we may have lost, but it was really positive to see what we can do up against these bigger teams. Though Chelsea haven't really been their strong side that they were last season. They seem to be not getting out the gate very quickly. We know they beat Tottenham 1-0, but then they struggled against Brighton and are throwing away easy points. So I'm looking forward to playing them in the league to see if they've strengthened or if our upward trajectory is going to keep going.
See, with this Chelsea thing that they're not playing very well, I think it could be taken more on a positive for Chelsea, because they're not playing well and they're still picking up points and they're still winning games. So if I was looking at it on a Chelsea point of view, I wouldn't be too worried, because by the looks of things, when they don't play well, they can still grind out games. So when they do play well, they're going to be quite a strong team by the looks of things.
No, absolutely. But then you look at Man City last season, threw away the league because they may have won more games than Arsenal did, but they drew more. So by the end of the season, are Chelsea going to be ruined the fact that they could only grind out a point against Brighton?
I think that lays a question though in every team, really. You know, us. You know, if we drew to a team like Brighton, I'm sure we would look at that game and say we should have won that, and will that screw our chances of fourth or fifth at the end of the season. So every team says that.
Yeah, but no, back to our performance on Sunday. I have to say one of the standout players was actually Longhurst. Longhurst absolutely stood her ground against the Chelsea midfield. She was pacing along with them and once again proving why she's such a fantastic ambassador for West Ham.
See, one thing that I was going to mention in the Kate Longhurst spotlight thing is what I like about Kate is she always puts the team over herself, because I'm going to go back to the Birmingham game here. Me and like the group I hang around with were talking to Kate about the challenge she made in the early minutes of the game, and we was making up the point that that could have stopped her chances of playing at the London Stadium. And her answer literally was, yeah, but we had to win the game. So that just shows that she does put the team first. And I feel with Kate, every tackle is for the shirt as well. She cares about the fan of the club, and she's also somebody. If there's a little girl hoping to get into football that supports West Ham, I think a lot of them can obviously look up to Kate. So she's a great ambassador, not only for West Ham but the sport.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I was that little girl who wanted to play for West Ham, but unfortunately, I didn't have that role model. All my role models was Julian Dix. It was, I was the time of Joe Cole, Lampard when he played for us. So it's nice to see the little girls that do have that strong role model, both in Kate and Gilly, which again was a fantastic player for us against her old team. We were hoping she could try and get another headed goal like she did against Chelsea last season, but it wasn't to be. But again, made some really good clearances, and a couple that were practically off the line. And again, she was our dynamo in defence, which is very good because at the Birmingham game she did get a slight kick to the head, which we found out might allegedly was Bree.
I remember talking to Julie about that after the game, and she said as soon as she was trying to clear a ball off the line, and as soon as she looked up and she couldn't see anything, she just knew a whack in the face was coming.
Yeah, and we spoke to Bree after that game, and she was like trying to swipe for the ball and missed, and ended up. So she felt very sorry about that. We'll give Bree the benefit of the doubt. She did feel very sorry about that. So, what can we take from the Chelsea game forward for the game against Tottenham this Sunday?
Just really another positive that we played well, and we're now going on to a more winnable game. That's obviously got a lot of attention around it, but I think the thing that is going to be added to this game is more of an expectation to win that obviously we didn't have against Chelsea. I think we dealt with that well against Birmingham, but obviously the added attention that we're playing at the London Stadium, and it is a chance to gain a lot of fans. But I think by what the girls have been saying to the media team, they're not focusing on the fact that they are playing at the London Stadium. They're focusing on Tottenham as a team and getting the 3 points, which is inevitably the most important on the day. But I have to say I've been really impressed with the media outlets like FAWSL Full Time, BT Sport, FAWSL that haven't went to the big teams that are playing like they used to. They're actually coming to the game. They're showing a great London derby live, and hopefully we get the 3 points.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think it is going to be a huge occasion for them to play at the stadium. I mean, it's not the first time they've done a big stadium because obviously we got to the FA Cup final, so a few of them have obviously done Wembley, but I think it's going to be good for our newer players to see what West Ham's all about, because whether it's the men's team, the women's team, the one thing that everybody says is we have the best fans. We are the loudest. We are, the ones that will get behind our team the most. And we've been doing that at Rush Green, but to see it at like 20, 22, 23,000 people, which is how many tickets have been sold currently, I think is going to be a real boost for our new players, like Brosnan, like Thomas, players like that, just to see what the West Ham ethos actually is. We talk a lot about the West Ham way and the fan group, and it'd be actually quite interesting to see how they're going to cope and like just because it's going to be a huge event. You know, I mean, there might be a few Tottenham fans there, but we know it's going to be outnumbered Claret and Blue.
See, another thing that's nice for the fans that come week in, week out is I was thinking about the game in college, and I actually did get quite a bit emotional that the girls have been given the opportunity to play at the London Stadium. And I know a few fans on the day may have a tear in the eye when the girls walk through the London Stadium tunnel and come out to 20,000 fans, which I think we have to give credit to the club's media team as well for publicising the game well, and obviously fans that may have never watched women's football but want to give it a try and want to support the girls. And I'm sure it'll be a really loud atmosphere because it is a game against Tottenham, and I'm sure everybody knows West Ham and Tottenham don't like each other no matter what game it is. And I'm sure I'll be screaming my head off for 90 minutes like you probably will, Ali, as well.
Oh, you can't shut me up. Mouth almighty me. So what advice would you give me? Because we're seeing a lot of people that are saying this is the first game, women's game that they're going to, or it's the first game that they're taking their children to, grandchildren. I know my dad is friends with a lot of old school Irons from, you know, used to go to the club back in the 70s and 80s, and they're bringing their grandkids. They're bringing, you know, family that have never really been to a women's game before. So what would you say is the things they should expect, and what things should they be looking forward to?
So one thing they should expect, as we do every game, is a Kate Longhurst tackle. But I think the best bit of advice I could give up, obviously only getting into women's football a year ago, is kind of going into it with an open mind, not sitting there during the game and comparing it to men's football and all that. And I think the biggest thing is just literally enjoy the game and enjoy the occasion. And hopefully the club do gain a lot of fans from this. But I think for fans that have never watched women's football, I think everybody that hasn't is going to go into that stadium and after the 90 minutes probably be surprised how good the quality is. And of course, I think, as I said, we are going to gain a lot of fans from this. And hopefully, if it's a good event, they get the opportunity again, maybe later in the season.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We've got some big games coming up, so it'd be quite nice to see if we can get a few more in the London Stadium. But it would also be quite nice to get a few more fans down to Rush Green. I know, again, it's not one of the easiest grounds. Unfortunately, for women's football fans, will know that the women tend not to play in the most accessible grounds. I think the easiest one I've got to, apart from Man City with their little mini Etihad, was Bristol City, because that was a 10-minute walk from a station. The rest are not the greatest. So hopefully, if we can boost the attendance at Rush Green, that there will be more at the London Stadium and we can get our fan base going. Now, back to the game itself. We've already played Tottenham once in a pre-season friendly. It didn't go our way. If anybody watched our recap on that, we said that it was definitely our back line wasn't fantastic. What should we be doing going into this game against Tottenham?
I think what we should be doing is looking on how we broke Tottenham down, and I think the main thing Tottenham struggled with us was when we played direct for them for that 20 to 25 minute spell. We really cut Tottenham open a lot. I think mid-edge hit the post from the first minute of us going direct, which was a brilliant whipped ball in from so-hyun. And obviously, mid-edge was unlucky to hit the post. But like I said, I think against Tottenham, we need to play with the same style we did for that 20 minutes of playing direct. But obviously, I think the main thing would be defending Tottenham's attack better. But it's really hard to tell on a pre-season friendly, really, because Tottenham were trying new things out. We were, and I think this will be a completely different game.
Absolutely. I've watched a few of Tottenham's previous games. They played against Chelsea, and they played very well against Chelsea. They were unlucky to not come away with any points against Chelsea. And then I know they won. In fact, they're very similar to us because they won against Liverpool in their second game, and it was very scrappy. It was very. They were lucky. They won on a penalty. They were very lucky in that certain decisions didn't go against them, and they ground out that result. So it's going to be interesting to see, because I think we're going to be quite evenly matched this game. I don't think it's going to be a walkover. I do think we can win it, but I think we need to go in and play like we played against Arsenal and like we played against Chelsea, but just come away with a win.
I think the expectation will be to win the game, but I think it's going to be a really fiery occasion. I think tackles will be going in left, right, and centre. I think it's going to be an exciting game of football to watch. But one thing I am interested to see is obviously you spoke about Tottenham being lucky with that decision. At the end of the day, some Birmingham fans will be going, we were lucky with the goal line decision. So both teams seem to be in familiar sorts of form. And it's important to also recognise that we both have the same amount of points, and we're both in the same situation in the league. But I think both teams will be looking at it as a winnable game and a chance to climb the table again. So I think this could be quite a high-scoring game as well, actually.
I think so too, and it's also, I think it's going to be really interesting. Not only is it derby level in the fact that it's West Ham Tottenham, but also there's a lot of former teammates coming back to play against each other. So like we had one last week, but this time we've got Rhea and Becky, who used to play for us last season, are coming back. You've got Gemma Davison, who used to play with Gilly at Chelsea, and also I think she was there at Gilly's Arsenal time as well. I'm also pretty sure Gemma Davison's played at Liverpool, which means she played with Kate.
Yeah.
You've got a fair few like players from that moved through the different teams, because Tottenham basically have a brand new squad.
Yeah.
So there's definitely a few familiar faces. So it's going to be interesting to see how they're going to play against ex-teammates.
One thing I will be interested in seeing as well is whether Becky and Rhea will get booed. Because as we know, when Brie came back at Rush Green, she got booed by some fans. So that will be quite interesting to see. But for me, one thing that does really fear me about Tottenham is they are really strong going down the wing. They put crosses in well. Can't remember her name. The girl they signed on loan from Reading, who scored. I think she won the penalty.
Yeah.
She looks fiery. She did when she played us in the semi-final for Reading. She isn't scared either to put a challenge in from what I see from our game against Reading. So at the end of the day, I just look at Tottenham's team and the way we played against them in pre-season, and I'm nothing but confident. However, there is a part of me that isn't as confident, if that makes sense, Ali, because I think from their wings they can really hurt us. So I think if we manage that well, I think we'll beat Tottenham.
Absolutely, because we need to play out. That's the thing. Do we play out wide and attack them head on with the wing, or do we try and keep it tight in the middle so they don't have a chance to play it out wide? Because we actually have a really good midfield now. Like to see Longhurst and Midag and Cho link up, but we also have really good wingers because Leon started to play in that position and pinging in crosses. We have our new number 11, who is fierce, like absolutely fierce. Plus, we've got our Germans as well with Vertelig. We've got a strong. I do think it's going to be pretty even, but I think we might just nudge it.
I think with this Tottenham game as well is I think if whatever side goes in at half time with the lead, the other side will have that extra momentum going into the second half. So it'll be interesting to see what team comes out on top, because I actually do think, from what I've seen so far this season, both teams are evenly matched. But I am still quite confident that we are going to win the game.
Fantastic. So, if any UK viewers are watching the American Hammers, because there's a few, tickets are still on sale. So do try and get down to the London Stadium and support our girls and get that place a rocking.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, we want to do what we've done last couple of weeks. Is we're going to highlight a player. Reese has already given the game away about who's in the spotlight this week, but we are going to go for, as the West Ham legend, both in fandom and in her playing ability, it's Kate Longhurst. So go on, Reese, why is Kate such a special player?
I think I've already gave really my summary on Kate, so I'll just go over that again, just in case some viewers wasn't live. The one thing I like the most about Kate is she puts the team over herself every single time. She's a leader on the pitch as well, and I think that the main thing about Kate is she does care about this team. She's a West Ham fan. She knows what the fans expect from a West Ham team. And but most importantly, like I said, every tackle, every pass, it is for the shirt. And I think one thing going into this Tottenham game that we will need is leadership for some of them players that haven't played in a derby, haven't felt the atmosphere of a West Ham Tottenham game. Because Daly was on international duty as well when we played them in a pre-season friendly. So, but like I said, I think the main thing that I like about Longhurst is she just does put the team first every single minute of the game over herself. Because, like I said to you earlier on the show, after the Birmingham game, we spoke to Kate and we was talking about her risking her place for the London Stadium game with that challenge. But she said, well, we had to win that game. And I think that just sums Kate up as a player, really.
Also, what I think a lot of people forget about Kate is what a technical player she is, because we were standing for the Arsenal game, and it's when she was playing on the wing, and she did this little dummy thing on the thing to get around, I think it was Van der Donk, and it was just a thing of beauty that she sort of, it was a half nutmeg, half trying to get the pass around thing, and it to try and get us a goal back. And she's such a technical player, and she can play pretty much anywhere in midfield. She can play defensively to help back in defensive mid. She can be an attacking midfielder. She does run well on the wing, so she's definitely been a brilliant all-rounder for us. And like you said, she cares about the team. She's a West Ham fan. This is probably her childhood dream to play for the club she supports. So it is a huge thing. And she is, like you said, putting the club first. And you can see that with the passion that she has when she's on and off the pitch.
I think that's a really important point that you've just made, that a lot of people forget about her technical ability. I think what it is with Kate is she makes everything look so easy that you don't notice it as much. And I think she's a bit like Right Start last year, where she just does everything so easily, so with grace, that it goes unnoticed. But at the end of the day, them players are the most important in the team.
Absolutely. Yep, absolutely. Like, for example, and just knowing when to go for the ball and when to not. Because if you look at that goal that Leon scored at Birmingham, the pass came in. Kate could have intercepted the ball because she was in the middle, but she knew to jump over the ball to let Leon, because Leon had the better angle. And I think also that distracted the Birmingham keeper, because she was expecting Kate to take the shot and didn't see Leon coming in from her left. So, it's all about, she's very clever in her play. And like you said, she makes it seem really effortless.
I think a really good thing about Kate is as well that she does them slide tackles, but they're timed to such perfection that hardly that she gets a she doesn't get a yellow card.
Yeah.
That often, unless it's meant to obviously stop them scoring. So she's a very clever player as well as great technical ability.
No, absolutely. And long may she stay at West Ham.
I don't think she'll leave now. We've got a women's team, to be honest, Ali.
That's fantastic. Okay, so we're going to finish up with a little bit of fun. It's Reese's idea, but I do think it's fantastic. So for any gamers out there, will know that the new FIFA, has it been released yet, or is it released tomorrow?
So like a really weird thing where if you buy like the more expensive edition, players can play it already, but the official release date is Friday. However, from a PES fan, don't buy it and go and buy PES.
But one thing that all footballers care about, probably I would say more than trophies, is what their FIFA rating is going to be. I know for a fact any West Ham fans will know there's a it's true. There's a video between Fredericks and Rice when they're talking about what Rice's FIFA rating is, and he was mortified that it was as low as it was.
I think with Rice and Fredericks, what you've got to remember is they do come across as well as FIFA addicts. I think on their Instagram story, literally every hour of the day, there's a FIFA 20 or 19 post out there.
Yeah. So, but I think players care more than they probably will admit what their FIFA ranking is. So we're going to take one of our girls and give them our own FIFA rating, which Reese understands more than I do. I just know that there are numbers. So after her performance at Chelsea, we are going to go with shot stopper extraordinaire Anna Morehouse. So Reese, what's Anna's ranking?
So for me, so it will be 80 for me because the only reason I'm giving her 80 is because right now Brosnan's number one, and it's just like typical of FIFA where they just they normally pull it around 80 for substitute goalkeepers. But not only that, I think Anna's strongest point, if I was rating her for FIFA and I sending it to EA, would probably be her reflexes. She does have great reaction saves as well. So for me, it would be 80, and I think the strongest point on her card would probably be reflexes, which I'd give 82.
Absolutely. She's definitely a very cat-like. I think her height helps that she can do the dives as quick as possible. She's also got a mean goal kick and quite an accurate goal kick as well. Because if you ever see her warming up, she practices her shots to aim it specifically at the goalkeeping coach. And so she's very accurate when it comes to that as well. So, yeah, I would probably agree with your statement that she's about an 80 on the FIFA ranking. And Anna, if you see this, please don't get offended. It's only supposed to be a piece of fun.
80 is a really strong rating, though. I mean, it's only 4 off Fabianski, and obviously Brosnan's rating will come later in the year.
Okay, so I think that's all from us tonight, guys. Thank you all for tuning in to the brandly new named We Are the Girls in Claret and Blue. We will be back on our usual time on a Wednesday next week, where we'll discuss what happened with the Tottenham game, the upcoming Brighton game, and all things West Ham women. So it's a good night from me.
And before we go, I'd like to congratulate Courtney Brosnan and Leanne Kiernan for getting in the Ireland squad today, which was announced. But as Ali said, a good night from me as well.
Good night, guys.